Destiny is on our side today. I know it. And you can help us by going to patreon.com/WassesCastProductions. For less than the cost of talking down your evil brother in his quest for world conquest, you can support our show. It's bonus episodes, early access, and exclusive content just for you. Please join us on patreon.com/WassesCastProductions. And now, on with the show.
You can dance if you want to, but if you don't dance, then you're probably a firebender. Welcome to the After Credits Cast, the only film podcast to make borderline racist accusations based on your dance preference. I'm your host, Aaron Waseska, and I'm joined by Ryan Metters.
Do you remember the days of the Soldier Boy? Oh my god. That was my shit.
Dude, can you imagine Aang Soldier Boy?
Yes! I 100% could!
Doing the worm. Dude, him doing the safety dance would be pretty fun.
I mean, Toph called him Twinkle Toes for a reason.
Mm-hmm. You know, that dance isn't as safe as they say it was.
Yeah.
You can follow us at all the other jokes we steal on patreon.com/WassesCastProductions, as well as YouTube, Pippa, Apple Podcast, whatever the fuck Google is now, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, TuneIn, Podcast Addict, and many other potential places. Hopefully by the turn of the year, which is obviously have already happened for you guys. For us, we're still in 2020. Hopefully by the turn of the year, we'll have on some new platforms that you'll eventually find. Who knows? We'll figure it out. And Ryan, they can also find us on social media. That includes Facebook, Tumblr, and Twitter. If they want to email us their favorite dance, what email can they go to?
They can go to the Lean With It, Rock With It, excuse me, sorry, that's evacstation@gmail.com.
You know, I keep forgetting that I did say on one of the pre-rolls you'd give us like a music, like R&B, like breakdown. I think we talked about that once.
We really don't have to do that.
No, I want to do it. I just keep forgetting there's a thing we said. And then it's like, oh, wait a minute, we're doing something musical. Oh, wait. So I'll have to make a note for that, and that'll be like next week or something if I remember correctly.
You don't have to make a note for that.
No. It's got to happen now.
No. Anyway, hey, so what are we talking about today?
Aaron,
buddy, old pal.
Well, hey guys, we finally reached the final season of The Last Airbender. Yes, we have movie episodes going up now alongside this series. In case you had noticed, don't worry, Ryan, we'll get that figured out. But we're seeing this journey to the end, no matter what other episodes are coming out, no matter what. Starting with The Awakening, originally airing September 21st, 2007. Written by Aaron Iez and directed by Giancarlo Volpe. You know, I remember the first season I could not pronounce that name, and now it's like just flows out the mouth, no problem.
Yeah.
Animated by now Moi Animation. We have a new animation house in place. And DR Movie, I think is the other one, is out for the rest of the series.
Godspeed, DR Movie.
Well, so from what I understand, DR Movie and Moi Animation are like subsidiaries or like related to the main one, which I think is called JM Animation. And I'm not sure why that got changed, but it did. So here we are now.
Maybe it was just a new team that they wanted to take it.
Maybe. There are no new voices this week. We are more or less catching up from what happened at the event after the events of the last season, which we'll get to in a minute. But Ryan, I think you have some fun facts for me.
I do. 2, in fact. This will be the last time the audience sees or hears Princess Yue. Safe to say we moved on. Despite this, she is mentioned at least twice in the following episodes. Maybe not so much moved on. This is also the last time we see Earth King Kue as well as Aang's original glider. This will also be the first time that we finally see Ozai's face not shrouded in shadow.
You know, that was always a cool effect to me. It was kind of like the whole Dr. Claw thing from Inspector Gadget.
Mm-hmm.
And we never got that in the movie, and that's like the biggest sin for me, is like you didn't keep Ozai an intimidating, hidden thing. He's just a dude.
Yep. I mean, also the fact that they did my boy Dev Patel so dirty as Zuko. Oh, God. Everybody involved in that. I'm so sorry, guys. Why'd you do this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anyway, final fun fact for this particular episode: there is a scene in which Zuko is feeding turtle ducks in the Fire Nation Palace courtyard, and when Azula arrives, they flee. During one flashback in the episode Zuko Alone, it is shown that Zuko and his mother used to feed turtle ducks together, and that Azula threw food at them rather violently, which is why they swam away when they saw her. Continuity, baby. I love it.
Mm-hmm. I was reminded of a bit of continuity in the recent CinemaSins episode. For us recent, for you guys listening, it's been a few months. They did the Simpsons movie, and there's a bit that I didn't remember from watching my first time. Apparently in the movie, there's an ambulance that is crashed on the side of Springfield Gorge from the episode where it crashed when Homer tried to jump Springfield Gorge. I'm like, they kept that there this whole time. That's impressive. That's good. That's very good.
I love it. I love it when like super deep cut continuity things happen. Like Rick and Morty's chock full of that shit.
Oh, dude, I love it. I love it. Any show that can pull it off seamlessly like this, they deserve a gold star. Like,
chef's kiss.
If it's too obvious, it's fan service. If it's not, if it's subtle, it's just a sprinkle of just magic right there. Here we go with the synopsis for y'all. Aang is dead. Or at least that's what the propaganda machine wants you to believe. But Zuko knows the truth and suffers extreme anxiety, and Azula preys on this, making him a scapegoat in the event Aang is maybe discovered alive, but he's totally not. He's not alive at all. Meanwhile, Aang is totally alive, has his hair, he's having some inferiority issues because he's failed to save Ba Sing Se, and he feels like he's failed to save the world. But the rest of the gang wants him to lay low and hide so the Fire Nation won't hunt them down. Aang gets scolded by the spirits for being a bit of an asshat, and he decides to put aside his ego for the safety of his friends.
This was tough, man. It's like everybody grew up immediately, like after the fall of Ba Sing Se.
Yeah, what happened to the fun group that used to like do goofy, dumb things and stuff? Like, this isn't my group. These guys are just too serious for me. I don't know if I can handle this.
I mean, you did mention a couple episodes ago that you felt like Tales of Ba Sing Se is kind of the end of like the super goofy like group, because once they really start going into like Lake Laogai and like dealing with the actual Earth King and the Guru, shit just gets serious and stays serious for a while. So yeah,
it kind of does, and you don't really feel it like full force until probably the end of the last episode into this episode, because obviously we had the high stakes of, oh, Aang might be dead, oh, probably not though, but he might be, and then you have this episode where it's like, oh, everyone is like now like a secret like stealth warrior that has to like make sure no one dies. Like, oh, this is for reals now, stakes are actually like legit.
God, fucking Azula killed him, dog. Like, she actually struck him down. That's crazy.
Can you just imagine though if Azula had like actually killed him? Like, can you imagine what the Fire Nation how they would have gotten away with this whole thing? Like, just
yeah, they 100% would have gotten away with it.
Like,
100%.
Like, there was no backup plan. There was nothing, because if he's not there to set the Fire Lord, no one can. Not even Iroh's like, I don't know if I could. And then there's the whole like, how do you stop him before the Sozin's Comet? Because your only hope is the Black Sun, and we know already Azula is aware of the plan and has already made Father Lord, aware of the plan.
The Father Lord.
Mm-hmm. Deep cut there. So obviously we know that this is just the beginning of the end of the beginning here.
The beginning of the end of the beginning of the end of the beginning of the end.
There's also a middle somewhere in there.
Yep.
Ryan, what are your thoughts on Azula's plan?
It's perfectly Azula, like 100%. She already knows that she doesn't need the extra clout of killing the Avatar, because she actually handed Ba Sing Se over to her father. So she's like, nobody can take that away from me. That's a lock. Meanwhile, I'm pretty sure the Avatar is dead. But you know what? If something happens, Zuko can be the fucking scapegoat. Meanwhile, I can also torture him with it. So it's just like everything about that plan is perfectly Azula. It's perfectly evil. I hate her, but she's the best villain.
Yeah, honestly,
There's a reason she out-villained Long Feng, man. She's always thinking like 4 steps ahead. For now, at least.
I wonder if Shikamaru could beat her, because he's also kind of that, like, forward-thinking, I've got a million plans on how to beat you kind of person. Like, I wonder who could outsmart the other one.
Oh, man. That's a fucking match for the ages. I'd love to see that shit.
Mm-hmm.
But her firebending would play havoc with the shadows around her. So I don't know if he could catch her shadow.
Damn, I hate pitching death battle ideas that make no sense, but that actually seems like a fun one that I want to see.
Yeah, seriously, like you can't really catch him. You can't really catch her because she essentially can create a source of light anywhere she chooses and throw her shadow around. Meanwhile, she's highly mobile and doesn't really have to worry about it. So I don't know.
But the thing is, the thing though is if he can catch her even just once, that stops the firebending completely.
Yep.
And we've seen him do some stupid shit with those shadows. We know he can do it.
But if anybody can just straight up out Shoji Azula, it's Shikamaru.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody can pull it off without crazy flashy moves and whatnot, just pure brain power, it's my boy there.
For those listening, we are comparing Azula to a Naruto character because we are anime nerds. No, I think you're right. I think Azula's plan is pretty solid all around. It makes you really question. I think I get to it in a later episode, and I'll ask this when we get there. But it makes you really question if Azula was ever gave a shit about Zuko at all. Period. You almost want to say no, but at the same time, it's there's got to be something there, right? There's got to be some spark of just I kind of care, but I don't really want to. You know what I mean?
There's. We'll get to delve deeper into this when Azula and the crew head to Ember Island. When we get some real deep looks at the antagonists of the story thus far. But Azula has a mental illness, guys. Azula has been dealing with this since childhood, and unfortunately the pure ruthlessness and all of the horrible aspects of this illness were praised and rewarded by her father, whereas her mother was the only one actually trying to break through that and get to her. But I mean, I think it's a combination of her own illness and the environment that made that about 10 times worse.
It makes you really feel for her character while also just being absolutely terrified of her. It's a unique combination we don't see too often.
It is. She's a wonderfully complex and fantastic, well-rounded villain. And it's only towards the end of the story that you see the perfect storm of bullshit that made her the way she is. So yeah, she is a very tragic character. I can't wait to get deeper into the season so we can really start to pick that apart. But to get back to your original question, I honestly don't think that she really cares about Zuko at all, because all she's known from birth is the approval of her father and the inheritance of the crown that she's felt she's deserved, and her sociopathic all of her sociopathic will to get what she feels she deserves, and other people don't really matter in the grand scheme of that. Mm-hmm. So it's only when her worldview is challenged, when her dominance and her superiority is challenged by or for people that she feels is inferior to her, that she starts to crack.
Gotcha. And we'll dive deeper into that when we get to that episode as well.
See, you almost made this entire episode about Azula, man.
And it's not even... She's barely in this episode.
This is episode 1.
Should Aang feel guilty about his failure? And why or why not? Because there's an argument to be made either way. If he had stayed in Ba Sing Se to start with, if he had managed to stick around for his avatar state and actually master it, if he had coordinated that fight better, a lot of things that he could definitely shoulder the blame on himself. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but this is stuff he could definitely be going through his head. I could definitely say that you aren't wrong to feel the guilt, because those are definitely choices being made that didn't work out for you. But at the same time, though, Zuko made some bad decisions that led to what happened, and you couldn't control that. Azula's plan was very solid all the way through, and she just happened to time it in just the right way when you guys weren't there. I mean, you couldn't have foreseen that, so you could go either way, honestly, in my opinion.
There's a lot in this. There's a lot of things leading to the fall of Ba Sing Se that were very providential, or like it was it had to happen like in the exact right timing, in the exact right way, and a lot of it was outside of Aang's control. If you look at the things that were in Aang's control, Aang could have stayed with the guru and really tried to wrestle with his concept of clinging to things, to the impermanent, and mastered the avatar state. But if he does that, does he get back in time to even help Ba Sing Se? Does he get back in time to even save Katara? Is Katara killed? Is Katara shipped off to the Fire Nation because he wasn't there? Both of those things have bad choices. And so I think for all of the decisions that he made, even though it didn't work out, I think he made the best decisions that he could have in those ridiculous circumstances. And sometimes you can make all the right calls and still fail. That's life, man. That's Jean-Luc Picard for you. So, yeah, I think him feeling guilt is natural, because this is his whole shtick. Everybody's like, okay, yeah, Aang's gonna save the world, and this is the first really big fight that he loses, and it's gonna fuck with anybody. Well, I mean, he's 13.
Well, to quote Suki, they do lose a lot of fights.
Yeah. But the fights that they lose don't often results in an entire major Earth kingdom being invaded.
No, I get you, and as someone who allows little mistakes to weigh them down, myself included, I feel what he's going through. I mean, obviously to a smaller scale, but I mean, I let things build up on me, and I don't get over them easily because I shoulder a lot of the blame for mistakes, even if it's not entirely my fault, because in my mind I can always think of ways that I could have dealt with it better, or avoided the issue from getting to where it was, or just, oh hey, I didn't think of this, why did I miss that, kind of thing. And I feel like that's a lot of what Aang's probably going through, and it's a very interesting way to look at it. It's a problem that I think a lot of people have. It's just trying to not think about the could-haves and all that.
Yeah. It's rough. It's a very shitty circumstance, and while you can absolutely have a young teenage protagonist putting the weight of the world on their shoulders and blaming themselves for failures that they could not have really affected, it's still the weight of the world is still going to be on their shoulders, and it's largely them putting that burden on themselves. I'm leading you right into the next question.
Well, speaking of which, what do you make of the parallel between Aang and Zuko in this story, and how their ties to honor have been reversed from the pilot episode?
Yeah, I mean, it's really skillful and really subtle how they do it, because it's never really explicitly said, but I mean, if you look all the way back to the pilot episode, the majority of people, when they find out that Aang is the Avatar, they shower praise onto him. Like, oh shit, it's the Avatar. This is the guy. He's going to save us all. He's finally here. It's going to be fantastic. We got to do anything that we can to help him. Granted, there are a couple people as the series goes on that are like, well, fuck you. Where were you? Why did it take you 100 years? But originally, he is given praise simply for being the Avatar and not necessarily for anything that he feels proud of. So it's an amazing parallel to have Zuko feel that exact same thing, because while he did help Azula fight the Avatar, he's not the one who struck the Avatar down, even though he is being lauded as the person who struck him down. But also, he's not entirely sure of his place in the world now. Now he's back where he thinks he belongs, but everything is kind of a glance, kind of askew, and he's really just trying to figure it out in the midst of this kind of misplaced pride in who he is rather than anything that he's done. It's a very skillful parallel that they draw there.
Well, and looking at, too, I mean, look at their ages, because Zuko has been away from the Fire Nation probably since he was Aang's age, or pretty close to it. And now that he's older, with much more mature perspective and having his adventures with Iroh, he can look at the situation he's in now as if at the situation Aang was sort of in, and all that, and kind of see it with a more, I guess, wiser outlook on the situation, and kind of be able to distance himself from what's going on and actually critically think about what's happening. Aang, being much younger, is reading the situation of his failures a lot harder, and seeking the honor very much like Zuko did when he was the same age. So, I mean, the role reversal works in a lot of ways, especially due to the age of the characters and what they've gone through to get to this point. Like, it's good. It's really solid. Like, this is definitely what they've been building to for a while. I'm glad they finally got that reversal the way they did.
Yeah, I'm just realizing that, like, there was even a point where Aang was like, I have to reclaim my honor.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, yeah.
And he does it in the same kind of position, the same kind of serious, dour tone, and in the same kind of boat.
Yeah, listeners, please forgive me. It's actually been like a month since I've actually seen this episode. I'm so sorry. But yeah, while it is subtle, it's not as subtle as I was just saying. But yeah, it's definitely, the comparison is the parallel is definitely painted there for you.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. Just because it's made a little more blatant doesn't mean it's any less skillful, and it definitely feels like something they've been working towards for a while. I think it's really interesting that both Aang and Zuko needed this one event to really put them on the proper trajectory, because Aang needed to experience a loss so that he can deal with these feelings and come out a stronger, more mature person that can handle the vast extremes of life, particularly in his position. But Zuko also needed to get exactly what he wanted in order to eventually learn that it wasn't what he thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it's out of, like you hear, like, people very tritely say, like, there are, like, you have to go through bad things in life in order to, like, become the person you're meant to be. And that can be really, really, really insensitive, because tragedy happens, and the last thing that you want to hear when tragedy happens to you is, oh, this has to happen so that you can be better. It's fuck you. Let me fucking process the shit on my own. Come on. But when you're looking at the long lens of this story, both of these characters actually needed this event. This event is really what sets them on that path. I don't think Zuko is ever redeemed fully if he doesn't make the wrong choice at Ba Sing Se. And I don't think that Aang really finds the internal fortitude to stand to Ozai without first experiencing the setback.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing I wanted to bring out too, and if I can remember the wording I wanted to use because I got lost in your explanation there.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. Something about Zuko. So going back to what you said about the subtlety about it and everything, I think what you said about it being subtle is true on Zuko's half of the story. Like, you don't really catch the parallel just on his half. Like, yeah, he's celebrated, and yes, he isn't, and yes, he feels like he's out of place and trying to, trying to really feel like the celebration doesn't belong to him or anything. Kind of like Aang did when it first started. His side is very subtle. I think that's because Zuko's story going forward does take a more subtle approach to how they handle his character, because now the story is more laser focused on him than it ever was before. Whereas Aang is allowed to be less subtle because his story has always been for the kids. His story is always the youthful target audience, and I think Zuko's more for the mature audience. I think the level of subtlety they both show in this reversal actually works for the audiences they're trying to play those to.
I like that. Way to make me sound smarter. Good job.
I just add a little bit of sprinkle. It's fine.
No, I think you actually absolutely have the right read on that. And it's interesting because you're right. Aang's story is more like focused towards like the younger audiences, and Aang has kind of the younger reaction to the less mature reaction to tragedy, which is perfectly fine because that's where he is in his life, and that's how he has to move past it. So even though it's such a heavy topic, Aang literally fucking died, it's still handled in a great way to convey the meaning of the story to those younger audiences. While the older audiences who are really more focused on Zuko, they have those quiet moments. They have Zuko railing against Iroh, and Iroh in prison, yet the fucking cinematography makes it look like Zuko's the one trapped, and Iroh's always shown in light. It's just, it's really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, really good. That's it. That's all I have to say.
I got two more for this episode.
Get it.
Does Zuko deserve to be happy at this point in the series?
I think all these people deserve happiness. I don't think happiness is something that you should have to work for in order to deserve.
Maybe not Ozai, but yes, I agree with you.
Yeah, maybe not Ozai. No, Ozai deserves to get his shit rocked. But like as far as the people, like the majority of the characters on screen, like these are all people dealing with trauma. These are all people coping with the environment around them, and they're reacting to the way life is in different ways. I think all of these people deserve happiness, but the actions and the decisions that they're taking don't get them to that state, and it doesn't help other people get to that state. So I think I know Zuko isn't going to be happy for a minute. I think he's deserved to be happy since before the pilot, because his father is an asshat who decided to maim him to teach him some sort of lesson about respect. Fuck him. Yeah, no, Zuko deserves happiness. He's not going to get it for a while, but once he does, it will be much more. It'll be felt so much more deeply because he had to get there on his own. As much as Iroh was trying to give him the wisdom, was trying to give him the game, Zuko really needed to go down this path himself. So when he finally gets there, damn, it's going to be good. Oh, man. It's going to be so fucking fulfilling.
Final question for this episode. How does the rest of the world react, and how should it react, to the news that the Avatar has died?
You know, it kind of reminds me of 2020.
Oh,
because
please tell.
Yeah. It's not like you were leading me to this or anything. No, because after a certain amount of time with the world going to shit, people are just like, this might as well happen. Oh, okay. I mean, fuck. Who knew? Oh, there's a deadly plague? Okay. Oh, he said what? On Twitter? Oh, okay. Oh, we're almost at war with... okay. Just like after a while of just shit being bad, people aren't really phased because that's just their new normal. So I feel like that's how a lot of the world reacts. Is like, of course, like, yeah, okay, this, like, the Avatar might as well have died. He wasn't here for 100 years. We had a small bit of hope, which was particularly painful, but you know what? Fuck it. This might as well happen. We'll just get back to our new fire overlords.
And I, for one, accept our fire overlords.
They don't even dance, man. What the fuck?
No, I think it's true, and I think we'll get deeper into the quote-unquote propaganda of the Fire Nation in the next episode. Speaking of which, we're covering The Headband, originally aired September 28th, 2007, written by John O'Brien and featuring the directing debut of Joaquim de Santos. This one returns animation duties to JM Animation. The cast has a few new members, including Jean Sakata as Miss Kwan, Tinashe Kachinwe as Anji. These are some fucking names here. Matthew Underwood as Hide, Noah Luke as Shoji, Jim Ward returns as the headmaster, and Phil Proctor as the music teacher.
All right. Well, we got some fun facts for you guys. First up, the history teacher refers to the air nomads as the Air Nation and mentions their army, air quotes, revealing more of the Fire Nation's extensive propaganda campaign, not unlike any other propaganda we've ever seen in real life.
No, Ryan, it's more patriotic education is what that is.
Patriotic Education is a Jerry Bruckheimer movie. That's what that is, right? Yep. Explosions and murk! Anyway, next fun fact. One of the dance moves that Aang performs is the Phoenix Flight. This foreshadows Ozai crowning himself the Phoenix King and using an armada of airships to attack the Earth Kingdom. Spoilers alert! Spoiler alert! The leg movements in this dance actually resemble those of a kazachok. That's a word. Which is a traditional Ukrainian and Russian folk dance.
We saw that in the one movie we watched. What's his name? Bill Murray movie.
Wait, which one?
The one the Man Who Knew Too Little.
Oh shit! Oh, yo, you just blew my fucking mind. That's exactly where that dance is. Oh, God, I love it. Okay, yeah, okay. I'm on the same page as you.
Yep.
Good man. All right, final fun fact for the episode. The scene where all the kids are wearing their belts as headbands to confuse the guards into thinking they were Aang/Kuzong is similar to the historical event where over 6,000 revolting slaves said, "I am Spartacus," in order to protect him from the Romans. But for kids.
Pretty common trope, but I like it. Speaking of common tropes, let's do a synopsis here real quick for y'all.
Let's go.
Aang disguises the gang steals some clothes. This results in a comedic series of events in which Aang's mistaken for a student and forced into school for brainwashing children against the rest of the world. Aang tries to break these kids free of this control with a scene from Footloose, which goes over quite well with the youth. The Fire Boomers don't appreciate this and attempt to seize him, only to be bamboozled by the student resistance. Fight the power, children.
Oh my god.
Also, Zuko is having conflicting feelings about Ba Sensei. Iroh has a cry about it. Zuko obtains a hired thug to kill the Avatar because he is too rich and important to do that himself now.
Yep. He's also being too closely watched, but yeah.
Fight the power, children.
Yep. I liked this episode because while it got some plot to move forward, particularly on Zuko's end of the equation, after the end of the second season and after the first episode, we needed some laughter. we needed to breathe a little bit. So having Aang have to go to school was very skillfully done to relieve some pressure.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That being said, though, while it is a more lighthearted and fun episode, which we haven't gotten in a short bit, there still are some dark undertones to it, which we'll hit up for sure.
Absolutely.
Because I don't think this season has any episodes that aren't like even a touch dark to it.
Oh yeah. I mean, like you said, like the pure lightheartedness kind of ended with the Tales of Ba Sing Se. Like even in the moments where we get to breathe a bit, there's always going to be the undertone of, well, we need to laugh because we'll cry if we don't.
So let's start with the laugh then. Did you enjoy those slick dance moves or the dance party, and why or why not?
I very much did. They every now and again they lean back to the relationship between Aang and Katara, and so just having a moment where they got to be like normal kids their age, and Katara got to fall a little bit for Aang because Aang was just in the midst of being completely himself and having a fucking blast because he is actually a bomb-ass dancer and he just wants other people to enjoy the world with him. Like that was really good. This is actually like the best Aang and Katara moment. This is like my favorite Aang and Katara moment because it feels the most organic. At least like for me, like it feels the most organic.
You're absolutely not wrong. Because the episode didn't build up to it. The episode didn't force it. The episode didn't make it like this is the moment where this happens. No, it's...
Yeah, we're gonna put you in a cave and we're gonna give you a folklore about two lovers meeting in the cave. So how about you kiss now? No, it's not that. It's not that.
What it is, it's two characters just being themselves, and the situation evolves into them dancing, and it's innocent, it's fun, but at the same time you can kind of see that they are slowly rebuilding that connection that was kind of lost a little bit in the most recent episodes. So I mean, it works at a lot of levels. And I mean, I love the dance the two of them do because it just looks so fucking cool.
Yeah. And just in general, it was like the animation of all the dances were fucking well done. Because if you can animate bomb ass martial arts sequences with flames and fucking boulders and streams of water, then you can animate some kids trying to dance and like being a bit awkward with it, but also just having a blast. And the moment they stop thinking about it is the moment that they really start getting into it. And it's good, man. It was just good and wholesome and well animated. Good on you guys. Good on you.
Speaking of good, I have to ask you, Ryan, what are your thoughts on Papa Sokka and Mama Katara?
I was in dire need of some Sokka shenanigans is what I really was. So yeah, that's like the great big bushy beard on Sokka was perfect.
They were Mr. and Mrs. Fire, weren't they?
Yep.
God, I love.
And I'll never get over Aang just going around Flamio Hotman. Like stop it. Fucking stop it.
Like, despite how shitty it is to live in the Fire Nation, and you see it in this episode a little bit, God, they just they have so much fun with it though. Like it's like, this is not going to be in my top 5 or 10 episodes for sure, because like there's so many other good episodes that do so much more. But for world building, this is probably one of the best ones they've done.
Oh yeah. Like it's both like overt and subtle at the same time, because I mean, like, you're getting like the blatant, like, oh, so the Fire Nation is teaching alternative facts to their students in the form of factual history lessons.
Well, Ryan, it's important to hear both sides.
Yes, the truth and the other thing. Yeah, it's important to get both sides of that.
To quote Lionel Hutz, there's the truth and the truth.
Yep. So that's like overtly bad. But it also does a really amazing job of not only painting not only like really illustrating how the kids who are just learning this stuff are pretty much equal to like where Aang is in terms of humanity, in terms of just wanting to be kids. Like some of them are assholes because some kids are assholes as they grow up, and we all have an asshole phase. You know, some of them are really cute, some of them are really dopey, like, but they're all human. They're all really on that same level, and the ignorance and the hatred is poured into them. They're not born being this way. So it's a very subtle painting of how, as they start, everybody is on the same level, but how the poison, the hatred that poisons the world, is the stuff that gets passed on from the previous generation to kids who don't know any better.
That doesn't sound familiar to me. I don't know what that's all about.
Passage!
We're already kind of dipping our toes in the next question, so I'll just read out loud and we can kind of pick up whatever we haven't touched yet. So we get to see how the Fire Nation schools indoctrinate children to believe their patriotic version of history. Not at all unlike real life. Ryan, what do you make of this, and do you worry about how real life schools can be impacted by this type of teaching? And does this episode dive deep enough into the role of propaganda?
For a kid's show, yes. For a children's show, yes. It gives you just enough of a taste of it. So it's just like, oh. I also love how it's like Aang is the focal point of this story. So like we talked about in the previous episode, Aang's story is kind of more tailored towards the younger audiences. Mm-hmm. So you give them a taste of this. And young kids who are watching this, they can tell the difference between right and wrong. They can tell the difference between a fact and a lie. We've been following this group for now 2 years, and we know that Aang was an air nomad. He was a monk, and that the Fire Nation attacked and eradicated his people because they knew the Avatar, the only person that could really stop their plans, was going to be born in that nation. So they decided to kill all of them. We know that. That happened as fact. So when young kids who have been with this story for 2 years now hear an adult say, oh, well, the Air Nation were amassing an army to assault the peaceful nations of the Fire Lord, and so they beat them back and drove them off. We know that shit's not real. We know that's not true. Now, older audiences can then take that a step further. Well, why the fuck are you telling these kids things that aren't true? Why are you painting a picture that did not happen? And that gets into more critical conversations. But I think for a kids show, they did it the perfect amount.
This is why I would highly recommend, if you have kids or you have parents, you should watch that show with them. So that way you can inform your kids as to what's going on, but also for the kids in the room, your parents can then tell you what's up.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like, and Aaron, you can talk to this much better than I can.
I can.
You know, like history being written by the victors, and once the things have happened and they're all in the past, only the people that are alive to tell about it can tell you what happened.
Yeah.
And so, the lens of the past gets shaped by the people that are telling it to you, and it's not always fully based in factual evidence. And there are things that are glossed over for the sake of patriotism.
And it really makes you wonder, too, like, just how much of history, especially American history, has already been scoped by that. Oh, wait, we kind of do gloss over the era of slavery and the Native American genocides and the Japanese concentration camps that no one wants to talk about anymore. No, those didn't happen, or at least they weren't that big a deal. It's not that big a deal. You guys don't have to worry about that. It's fine.
The assassination of black civil rights activists and leaders who really preached peace and equality, but
the invasion of third world countries, promoting the idea of democracy when really we were just trying to make sure Russia didn't get there and steal oil.
The war on drugs.
Man, there's a lot of things in American history. It's kind of fucked up if you really, stop and thought about it for more than 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But that's just alternative facts, man. Patriotic history says we rule and you drool. Let's move on.
About to get me real sad, man. We're talking. This is for kids, Aaron. This is for kids, dog.
Is this for kids? And I have a question, Ryan, that might be more kid friendly. This episode seems to imply that music, and by extension the arts, are liberating from the oppressive teachings and customs of the Fire Nation. Do you agree? Music and the arts have this power. Why or why not?
They can. They absolutely can. And as a musician, speaking from experience, it is a truly breathtaking and liberating thing to not only dive deeper into music, but also experience the music of other cultures. I personally believe that music has the power to express feelings and concepts beyond simple words, and really immersing yourself in another culture's music is an amazing way to really learn something beyond just what you can read about that culture. So as Aang was trying to bring a little more musicality into the situation, and like having the kids really kind of let loose from like the rigidity of their daily lives and come together as kids, come together, like experience different cultures, having Aang teach them dances and them just having a fucking blast. Like it's in sharing other people's cultures, not appropriating them, but sharing in other people's cultures, that our world starts to become a little more unified, a little more connected. And there are forces that don't want us to do that. So we have to do that. That's kind of our duty to do that at that point.
So Ryan, I do have a question. I need clarification. As a dumb white person, I need clarification. What is the strict line? What is the strict difference between appropriation and sharing and or appreciating other cultures?
So for me, God, as soon as I said appropriation, I literally knew that was going to be the follow-up. Okay.
You know me too well.
Yep. My girlfriend can talk about this forever. But my understanding of it is, when you can assimilate another culture's kind of technique or just like general style or whatnot, claim it as your own, but then talk shit about the actual cultural originators of it and not kind of pay homage to it, that's appropriation to me.
Okay.
It's white celebrities wearing cornrows and being praised for like a trendy new chic design, and yet black women wearing cornrows being looked at as thuggish and ghetto. That's textbook appropriation.
So
that's fucked up. Don't do that shit.
So then, in your eyes, if I had a daughter, for example, and she wanted to dress up as, like, say, Moana or Pocahontas for Halloween, just as because those are her favorite movies, for example, that would not be appropriation to you.
So that's where it gets a bit tricky, because
right. That's where I'm confused at.
Right, that's where I think it gets a bit tricky, because a lot of those are based in like very important cultural things, like things from that culture. So honestly, if like I would talk to people of that culture to just see where their head's at on it, because everybody has an opinion. A lot of people's opinions are different. I think I don't know.
See,
That's hard. That's hard because
and
people get torn up dressing like Pocahontas today.
Here's my thing. And first off, she'd be part Native American, so she has like a 16th right to do so, I suppose. But that's not the point. The point is, Ryan, so I know my opinion is kind of lesser due to being white on this topic, but let me just voice my kind of 2 cents. I honestly have always thought the line would be, you are free to embrace whatever culture you choose to embrace, however you choose to embrace it, as long as you're doing it in a positive light and not drawing any attention to the negative aspects or doing so in an insulting, mean-spirited way. So if you want to dress up as a character from something, or if you want to wear a particular kind of dress or suit or something from a different culture, I honestly feel like it's okay, as long as you aren't doing so in a way that's derogatory to the culture or derogatory to the attire itself.
Mm-hmm. Right. And as you say that, like immediately, there isn't anything wrong with that in my mind.
But I guarantee you, someone's gonna read it and be like, "Nope, here's why you're wrong."
Yeah, and here's the thing. So, I think there's a right way and a wrong way to have conversations like that. Mm-hmm. I think there are people who who do that, and like wear like religious, like important cultural headdresses as a costume, and shit's not okay, you know? Culture's not a costume and whatnot. But yeah, that's just hard. That's just a hard question.
We need to get Allegra on this show at some point just to have this conversation, because I would love to hear someone who is a bit more studied and versed in the topic.
Yeah. What I was going to say though is that when you're coming at it from a very respectful position, where you want to celebrate this person or this culture, and you're fully like aware that the culture is not your own, but you love it so much and you want to like pay homage to it, you should be able to ask those questions and to have those conversations. And then people from that culture should be able to, or be willing to try and educate on why that's bad or why that's okay, or how to do it in a loving way to share in the culture rather than appropriate it. I do think it all automatically comes down to intent and to the respect that you're paying the culture. You know, like I don't think there's anything wrong with dressing up as Moana. I don't think. I could absolutely be wrong, and if we are wrong, or you guys have different thoughts on cultural appropriation, please email us or comment below on how we're fucking this up, please, because we don't know that much about it.
This episode's title will be called "What is Cultural Appropriation?" just so that way we can get more attention and people can answer the question. I don't know what the answer is. I want to have people answer that question for me. I want to know.
Yes.
Final question, Ryan. Not really a question, but more just a prompt. Let's talk about Zuko's role in the episode and whether it works or not, or why.
Well, I think it's still great. Zuko is on a slow burn at this point. Burn.
He's a firebender.
Yeah. Zuko's story is simmering right now, though. I mean, like, we've got all the ingredients in there. We have all the things necessary for him to change. And actually, like, right now, he's pretty much in a pressure cooker. It's going low and slow. It's just like all the flavor is seeping in there. So him just being there, him being uncomfortable with getting everything that he's wanted, him only really having Iroh to kind of vent against, like in that scene, and like him dealing with his anxiety, Azula fucking like twisting the knife is just like, well, I mean, you're the one who killed the Avatar, so if the Avatar turned out to be alive, then well, fuck, it'd be you that was in trouble, not me. That's fun. Anyway, toodles. So like him having to him like kind of wrestling with his anxiety and hiring a hitman just in case the fucking Avatar isn't dead absolutely makes sense. So I think it was a good contrast to the rest of this episode because it does keep the plot moving. It does create a good solid counterpoint to like the fun goofy shit where it's not like super emotionally intense, but there's still some tension there. So it's a good give and take, I think.
I would agree. I definitely am kind of curious how the assassin plays out throughout the rest of the season. I mean, I know we already know, but I'm kind of curious what the overall thoughts are going to be about it as we continue going forward. We'll get there. We'll get there. I know. I've always been of the mindset that it was a strange choice for Zuko to make. That like I get, you want to make sure all your loose ends.
He's got to cover his bases.
Got to cover your loose ends and whatnot. But at the same time, though, it's like either I don't know. If I'm Zuko, my thought isn't going to be to hire a thug to do it for me because Aang has given Zuko and even Azula the slip multiple times. Do you think this guy's going to be able to do it? Honestly, I mean, look at him. Look at him. He's a big fucking hulking monster. Aang's going to see that coming miles away and be able to outrun him every time.
To be fair, homie comes close. To be fair, we haven't seen a guy like this dude, like Sparky Boom Boom Man, to date. So the fact that Zuko now has connections, now has money and weight and clout to throw around, I can see this guy coming like highly recommended, and he's like, all right, you're supposed to be the best of the best, and I've got the money for the best of the best, so let's fucking do this. But I also see him as trying to be proactive because he knows the Avatar, or he probably has a good feeling that the Avatar might be alive. And he also knows that if the Avatar publicly shows up to be alive, he's fucked. Azula has planned it this way.
I just thought of something. How the heck does Zuko even hire an assassin anyway? I mean, logically speaking, like, how does he do it? Like, there's no fucking, like, Craigslist for it or anything. And you can't just go around asking, hey, guys, you know where I can find an assassin? No reason, no big deal. There are going to be follow-up questions. Someone's going to ask you.
He's got gophers. He's got people that are sworn to him with connections that literally cannot ask questions. The only people who could actually, like, call him on some shit would be Azula and his father. So as long as he keeps it away from the... And May, probably. So as long as he keeps it away from those two, and I'm sure as shit that Azula actually knew, but it's still no skin off her back because if the Avatar is dead, then everything's fantastic. It's just less work that she has to do. I'm sure she knows. But as long as his father doesn't find out, there's nobody else who can really say shit to him. He says, I want an assassin. I need the best of the best. Go bring me this guy. They can't say nothing but yes, Prince Zuko, and do their shit.
I don't know. I feel like that's too easy, but at the same time, rich people get away with a lot of shit, so I don't know.
He is literally the right hand of the Fire Lord, man. People who talk back to these guys get wrecked.
Yeah, but at the same time, though, what about the ones that are loyal to Ozai before he's loyal to the kids? Like, what if he's like, oh hey, like the vizier to Ozai does hear something, he's like, oh, sir, I heard Zuko's hired an assassin. Do you want me to look into this? And Ozai would probably be like, yeah, you should probably make sure it's not going to, like, come and bite us in the ass or something.
Maybe.
I don't know. I would just be sketch as hell to hire any kind of, like, hired goon, essentially. Like, I feel like it's always going to come back to bite you. Don't leave a paper trail or anything like that. Just don't do anything. Just do it yourself.
Lol, what paper? He probably went to, like, the head of the guards and was like, yo... I need an assassin. Go get that shit. And they said, yes, Prince.
Of course, so, I'm also that kind of person who always wonders how that happens in real life, too. Like, I get there's the dark web or whatever. But
there's no dark web in the Avatar.
but, like, in real life, though, like, until the internet happened, like, how do you hire an assassin, really? Like, do you just, like, put out a flyer saying, hey, yo, I need someone's throat slit. Who's in?
I'm guessing criminal connections. Know a guy who knows a guy into shady shit.
Man, I want to know how that underworld works, but at the same time, I feel like if I ever find out, it's just going to be the end of me.
Yep, yeah, I'm pretty sure. The underworld stays the underworld for a reason, homie. Don't ask questions you don't want the answers to.
And like, it's not that I want to find out to do anything with it. It's not like I'm going to tell anybody. I just want to know like how it works, like physically, like logistics and everything. Like how does request become reality is what I want to know.
Yeah. Although to be fair, if the IRL underworld is actually anything like John Wick, then I would absolutely love to know. Oh my god. It's fucking dapper guys in fucking bomb ass bulletproof suits with gold coins? Yes. Yes.
If anyone wants to reach out to us on Tumblr, Twitter, and Facebook and tell us how the criminal underworld works, just let us know in the comments below. It's fine. We're not going to tell anybody.
Put it in code or something, so the FBI agent doesn't think you're actually trying to hook us up with an assassin or anything like that.
I mean, I wouldn't mind being hooked up with an assassin, just so I could like sit down with him for tea and be like, "Yo, hey, so how do you do what you do?
Can you just come over and I'll make you dinner? I just want to pick your brain. Not literally. No, I mean like I want to ask you questions. I'm just really curious. I'll fix you a plate. Come on.
Yep. And if you want to set up that arrangement with us, just email us at Ryan. What's that email?
Pass this fucking handoff. That is. God damn it. That is, Mom, I invited an assassin to dinner at. Excuse me. No, that's evacstation@gmail.com. You dick.
you know this episode's gone on long where we're making jokes about hiring assassins to come over for dinner. Let's rank the episode.
He has a weird tattoo on his forehead. Don't ask questions.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. We're gonna rank the episode from platinum to gold, all the colors, or platinum to bronze, all the colors in between. Ryan, what are we gonna rank the Awakening?
So The Awakening, I think, is a really, really good episode as far as a tone setter. Because we come out of the end of season 2. It's very dour, and season 3 could start from scratch. We're just brand new. Hey guys, it's a new day. We lost this one, but you know what? We're gonna do it. No, it starts off dark and goes darker before it starts to pull itself back up. So it kind of sets the whole tone for season 3, and we know that it kind of keeps that same energy. In comparison to the other episodes that we've got coming up, because there are some fucking stellar episodes coming up, and there's some stellar episodes that have happened in the past, I'm personally going to give The Awakening a solid silver, because it does a great job of setting the stage for where we're going, but it doesn't really raise the bar, just more like establishes baseline.
Mm-hmm. I'll agree, because I know what other episodes are coming up, and I don't want to rank this too high. And like you said, it's a tone setter. It's really all its job is to recap and set the tone for what's coming forward. While there are some excellent narrative parallels between the two lead characters, essentially, I would say that those parallels have been existent for a while, and they only get better as we go forward, especially in episode The Fire Lord and the Avatar. We'll get there very soon, and as far as I'm concerned, this is definitely probably one of the better silver episodes, but not quite gold territory, I don't think. Meanwhile, over to the headband. Ryan, what would you rank this one?
I'm going to give this one a bronze.
Ooh.
But the fact that this episode is bronze is solely because the level of this series is too damn high. It is, like you said, one of the best world-building episodes that we get. And it's one of those true filler episodes where it advances the plot just a little bit, but primarily it gives you a bit of breathing room. It fleshes out the world. It allows the characters to breathe and to become a little more well-rounded. So it's a rest episode. It's a rest episode. It is probably one of, if not the best world building episodes in the show, period. But there are so many other episodes that are like stratospheric that this is a bronze. This is an amazing bronze, but yeah, this is a bronze for me.
I am gonna be a hard disagree and say this is a gold for me.
Ooh, okay.
It's going to be the bottom of the gold. The gold pool is like bursting at the seams, and this is going to probably sink to the bottom of the list. But it's like it's the worst of the best episodes, if I want to explain it. Like,
Yeah.
it's not bad. It's just not as good as the other ones. But I like it because, as you said, it's world building. It's world building done to a perfect like T. Like they hit everything they need to establish how shit the Fire Nation is without question, how they propagandize their kids without question, and just what. And also you get a little insight as to what Aang is like when he's uninhibited, when he's actually like just being himself. You get to see a organic growth of the relationship between him and Katara. You get to see some killer dancing animation, which you wouldn't expect in a show about martial arts fighting, but here it is. And I don't know. I just really enjoy this level of world building, character growth, and while it has nothing to do with the main plot, it certainly does feel like a true blue good episode. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say on it other than just that, but it's not going to be your super high level world nonsense that we usually deal with, or the super intense fighting we deal with, but outside of that, it hits every nail in the head that I think it needs to. I think the only way you can make it better, and it's going to sound weird, take out the stuff with Zuko, put that in an episode that's not as good, like the next one, and then and then just do more world building. You have the space to do it then.
Interesting. Okay. Okay. I feel you. I just
Also, Flameo Hotman, come on.
Flameo hot. Man, we desperately needed those laughs.
Mm-hmm.
We desperately needed those laughs, man.
Anyway, that's all for this week. Ryan, next week we will be covering The Painted Lady and Sokka's Master.
Ooh, yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm very excited for this.
So, thank you all for listening to this surprisingly deep episode, and we'll see you again after the credits.
Bye.